joining. My name is Nino. Today I will be your moderator, mostly behind the scenes and frequently answering your general questions and also managing your program-related questions that we will talk about in today's webinar. And as you know, today's subject webinar is about energy engineering and renewable energy. As announced, and as you probably remember from the email invitations, we have two speakers and two presentations. So before we dive deep into the most important part and interesting part and the reason why you are here, actually, I will briefly remind you of two minor Zoom rules, so to say, which would be nice to follow. First of all, you are very welcome to start sending your questions whenever you feel like, or if you probably have also prepared your questions regarding the study programs. And as I have mentioned, since we have two program presentations, it would be really nice if you could mention the university at least, or the program name, or the professor to whom your question is directed to, so that I can also correctly then ask our guests and give you best possible answer, or they will give you. I will just be voicing your questions. And for that, you are very welcome to use the Q&A box, which is on the lower part of your Zoom interface if you are using your desktop. If you are using mobile or some other devices, then it's usually on the upper side, the Q&A. And second thing is about the chat. Even though it says disabled for you, it is not really disabled. I will be sharing links, I will be sharing program pages, info emails if our dear guests mention them. So feel free to just have a look at chat. Maybe you also need GPA calculators, something else. All of that will be in chat, and you can gladly open those links gradually if you like. Now, I will briefly introduce those people who are behind today's webinar and also the field of energy engineering and renewable energy. By this, I mean how you can orient yourself while searching for programs in this direction. So first of all, today's agenda, we have guests from Hochschule Rhein-Waal University of Applied Sciences, which is on the bachelor's degree level, Bachelor in Environment and Energy, Bachelor in Science. And we also have Technische Hochschule Rosenheim presented today. And the speaker will talk about Master in Science level in Hydrogen Technology, so which means that we have both levels. And it's always nice also to have this continuation, because then probably if you're applying to Bachelor right now, you will also get to know the Master's program. Now about German University, which is Germany's largest database of English to study programs. And this largest database means that in case you need or want to study in Germany and partially or fully in English, you are welcome to use our study finder that has lots of filters, which are very user-friendly and which will help you narrow down your search and hopefully find your favorite program to start your studies in Germany. We also try to help internationals with our articles. There are more than 150 comprehensive articles on various topics, starting from technical things, ending with some suggestions, for example, on housing or scholarships. But there are also some technical things, for example, about UniAssist, how to navigate through UniAssist, what it is, etc., etc. So those articles are worth your time, and I advise you having a look. Even today, if, for example, our guests mention, I don't know, 𝘱𝘢𝘪𝘥, or they mention UniAssist or similar things, I will be in parallel trying to share the articles about that, so that in case you are not familiar about those topics, you can also have a look and read those articles. And we also have webinars. You are attending a subject webinar, so you are already aware of this part of German University. But I just want to mention that we also have general webinars when we talk about broader topics like studying in Germany generally, or visa issues, scholarship issues, UniAssist issues. And for this reason, we advise you using subject webinars really to direct your questions to programs, not those general things, because we have single webinars whole hour dedicated to UniAssist, where everybody can join and we then deeply discuss those topics. So hopefully today's session will be more on topic, and then you have program related questions. And who is doing everything? This is the team, my dear colleagues. We are based in Hamburg, Germany, but the team, as you probably can also see from the flags below, and also maybe also guessing from faces, we are very international. We speak multiple languages, which has different benefits. For example, our articles are also in multiple languages. We have webinars in Spanish as well. We used to have webinars in different languages as well. So it does have lots of benefits. Now, if you want to find a program in energy engineering and renewable energy, of course, it's more than just two programs being presented today. And how you do it is you just go to our study finder and you can use this subject filter where you can filter for this concrete or two subjects. So energy engineering, you can select separately, and renewable energy as well. But you can also combine those two filters, and then the search will show you 99-degree programs. Out of them, there is also a breakdown, 15 bachelor and 84 master, and you can even kind of even narrow down the search in case your German skills are not that good enough. You can always click no German needed. Maybe it's at this point, and then you can see like programs that are taught fully in English. If you're new to the field, maybe you are still at your high school and you just want to know how it feels studying renewable energy, what it is about. Of course, you're attending today's webinar and you will learn it for your bachelor's program, but you can also at later time can check our subject pages, for example, where you have general ranking, tuition fees, application and admission. Here, please be very careful because all programs have their own concrete requirements for admission, for application, the way they do it. So this should be very carefully checked when you are selecting your study programs. And of course, list of universities where you can find similar programs in renewable energy or energy engineering. One tip is that you should create your own criteria how to select the program. So usually we have questions, can I study this topic in Berlin or in Munich? Germany is much more than that, and there are lots of different programs that are very interesting, unique. Therefore, you should decide yourself what is important for you. For it can be university, it can be program name, it can be even a professor who is teaching at a program that you really want to attend classes with. So don't be guided by single aspects, just combine those and then decide make a decision in this way. Now briefly about different types of universities in Germany. I can gladly and happily share an article about the historic differences, how it was, but just to mention briefly is that the main difference between universities and universities of applied science in Germany is the focus on theory and research in case of university, and more practice and application orientation in University of Applied Science. However, I always mention that there could be some exceptions on both sides, and programs could be also including some research or practice aspects at a university and vice versa. One last thing before I introduce our guest is that another advice that we give is that when you are searching programs, don't search by program name. So if you search by program name, even like not all programs are called Bachelor in Renewable Energy or Bachelor in Energy Engineering, or same for the master. So you will be missing out lots of programs that have different, could be also more interesting names. Therefore, we advise you to search by subject and then already make your own adjustments in terms of, I don't know, language requirement, fees, etc., etc. I will also share this link, which shows all the results for this subject in our study finder. And with this, I would like to then give this virtual mic to our first guest, Professor Dr. 𝘈𝘥𝘷𝘦𝘳𝘴𝘪𝘯𝘨, who will talk about Bachelor in Science, Environment and Energy. Just quick blick, so to say, or quick look at the program outlook is on the left side of the slide, when you see that the program is fully in English, there are no tuition fees, and on the right side, you see your future university location, quite around the border. And yeah, with this, then I will stop my screen share and share the program link in the page. So Professor, thank you very much for your time, and the presentation then is yours now.
Yeah, thank you very much for the nice introduction, and thank you for having me. And I will start sharing my screen. So I hope, yes, it starts. Yeah, so our bachelor is named Environment and Energy, and we cover both topics. I would like also to introduce shortly myself. I'm professor of renewable energy and electromobility. As electromobility is mostly about electric vehicles, and electric vehicles, how could they get power? So when you think about wind and sun, which are not continuously available, and when you think about electric vehicles, then of course one question is, how can you get energy and reliable? And for this, you would need energy storage. So also my research interest is in energy storage, but also in sustainable transport and in renewable energy. I'm in the faculty Communication and Environment. The faculty Communication and Environment is located not directly in Cleve, but nearby 60 kilometers to the southeast in 𝘗𝘢𝘕𝘓, which is near to Rhine-Ruhr area. You may know Duisburg, Essen, Bochum as names. So also we are at the corner of the Rhine-Ruhr area. The aims of our degree program, Environment and Energy, are that you get a sound knowledge of the basics of natural science, environmental science, engineering, and economy, and that you can apply them in both environmental science and energy technology and find sustainable solutions for actual challenges. You might have heard last weekend Germany has a big flooding event in South Germany. We had before flooding events in Southwest Germany. We had already flooding events in North Germany. This year, as our chancellor said, he is the first time with rain closure on flooded sites. And you know, that's one reason why we have so much flooding, or years before droughts, is climate change. So as one issue is, of course, find new solutions to fight climate change, but sustainable means also it has to be economic and it has to be social just. So it's not only for the planet, we need to consider the profit, and we need, of course, to consider the people. So future job options could be, for example, energy consultancy and management, evaluation of sites and renovation, engineering, construction industry, public service, for example, pollution control, monitoring, but also, for example, energy management. So specifically in energy management, also due to changes in European legislation, companies are, for example, requested to make reporting concerning their carbon emissions and concerning, it's named CSR reporting. That means cooperation reporting, also concerning social justice, but also concerning environment. Also here you have a very big field where not specialists and specific technologies only are needed, but also people who have basic knowledge about environmental issues, about energy management, and some knowledge about business and project management. So concerning our teaching forms, we use lectures, seminars, practical courses, and excursions. So also to the right side, you see the lecture room. That was the opening lecture some years ago. But here below, you see also students working with microscope. So also a very important part of our teaching is not only lectures, but also practical courses and in excursions that you experience what are probably future topics of job life, but also, yeah, get an idea about what are questions, issues in real world. So environment, this is winter view of a lake in the United States, is one thing, of course, about ecosystems and environmental factors shaping them. That could be biotic systems. Also, biotic means animals, flowers, trees, etc. But of course, also abiotic factors shape the world. So, also for example, that we have soil, that we have a base for plants to live on, that's of course due to abiotic activities. Also, for example, water freezing in porous stones and breaking them due to the freezing process. So ecology is about the systems of interactions between different organisms and between organisms and their environment. And of course here, part of the organisms is of course human beings. So also here, it's one time about the interaction about flowers, animals between themselves, but it's also about our interaction with ecology. So anthropogenic impacts on complex systems are, for example, pollution. And counteracting pollution would be then, for example, remediation. Also in Germany, for example, a very big topic is remediation of former industry sites. So remove pollutants as dioxins, heavy metals, other pollutants in order that people can live again on this area. Natural cycles of matter is, of course, also here a very big topic. Natural cycles of matter, that would be the water cycle, very important, the carbon cycle, but also nitrogen cycle, phosphorus cycle. We look at the moment very often on the carbon cycle due to the increase of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. I mentioned already the flooding in Germany. Also the last flooding event was in South Germany, very severe. And of course here also, water cycle is of course very, very important. So concerning energy and energy technology, how is energy produced or transformed? Because according to the first law of thermodynamics, energy cannot be produced, it can only be transformed. Exception, you use fusion, as the sun does, or fission, as nuclear power plants do. So also it's about using fossil fuels, it's also about nuclear power and its usage, but a very big focus in our degree program is on renewable energy. Energy efficiency is, of course, also a topic. Transformation of heat into kinetic energy and electricity. What are the theoretical limitations? Can we use waste heat in other applications? Such questions would be tackled here. And of course, renewable energy, for example, for electricity production, you know probably photovoltaics, you know probably wind, hydropower. Geothermal power is now discussed for producing heat, for example, for household heating. Solar thermal heating would be also an option, but to be honest, in Germany, a little bit difficult due to not so much sun. Other options would be, for example, heat pumps using electricity for heat production. So the photovoltaic panels have probably a low impact on environment. When we look at wind power plants, then of course is one question, what happens of birds and birds which are protected, but even more important, what happens when wind power plants are located near to bats? Also, for example, near the site where I'm teaching, there are wind power plants which have to be stopped when the bats are flying due to protect the bats. So in this case, it's comparably simple, but of course, think about hydropower plants. Big hydropower plants have the advantage producing reliable electricity, but the construction of big hydropower plants has, of course, also a very big environmental impact. And specifically, riversides are also very, very important ecological systems. So also here we have some trade-off, but do not forget, also coal mining and oil production has environmental impact. So oil production and mining has environmental impact. We know that the burning of fossil fuels, of course, has also high impact due to the increase of carbon dioxide emission. We have heating of the atmosphere, and due to that, extremely changing patterns of weather. Pollution is a big issue, not so much for wind power plants and photovoltaic power plants, but for example, for fossil power plants. Water management. Hydropower plants need water, which starts to become a problem, for example, in Latin America, where big droughts lead to the hydropower plants have no water anymore. And of course, by setting up a hydropower plant, you also change the water management by more evaporation. So these are issues, and we are looking into it, and all these issues have also an impact on biodiversity. So, but a little bit more in detail to our degree program. Our degree program has 4 columns. The engineering column is mostly about energy and the basic science about energy, as for example, physics, thermodynamics, fundamentals of energy management and technology, physics, mechanics, electricity, and magnetism. The second column is about natural science and applied ecology. So here we have introduction of ecology and environmental science, fundamentals of biology and natural cycles of matter, chemistry, one time the inorganic chemistry, one time the organic and analytical chemistry, microbiology. Additionally, you will also learn something about data analysis and processing. As in this column, you find statistics, mathematics, and also fundamentals of scientific programming. Reason behind that is we have the option to get big amounts of data. When we want to use them, it's very, very helpful when we can make our own programs for evaluation. So that is about data analysis and processing, but living in our world, we need also some knowledge about project management and business. So fundamentals of business administration, project management, and intercultural competence, legal fundamentals are the base for that. So in the higher semesters, we have more topics related to environment, remediation, resource management, evaluation of ecosystems. We have engineering, process engineering, applied measurement and control, and energy technology. As well, that might be some surprise for you, fundamentals of geodata management systems. As I said, data are very important, and the evaluation of data is important for that scientific programming, but also the distribution of the data in space, and that you get by geoinformation management systems is a very, very important topic. You have this chance in the 4th and 5th semester to, by choosing electives, to deepen your knowledge either in the energy part, in the environmental part, or in the economical part. In the 6th semester, we would like you to go either to a university abroad or to make an internship. So the reason behind that is that we want you to deepen either your intercultural competence by going again to a university which is not located in your home country and which is not located in Germany, or to work in a company, a research institute, or another organization for 5 months, actively applying your knowledge you have gained already. So in the 7th semester, then you would write your bachelor thesis. Additionally, you have some workshops which should help you in scientific working, scientific writing. And last not least comes the colloquium in which you present the results of your bachelor thesis. So when you study according to plan, the degree program would last 7 semesters. It's possible to start studying either in the winter term, starting in mid of September to end of September, or to start at a summer term, which would start in March. You do not need to have any German knowledge, but what you need to have is you need to have profound knowledge of the English language. Also, so we expect you to have B2 level, but you do not need to have German knowledge. We recommend that you learn some German, and for finding an internship in Germany, of course, it's a good idea to speak some German. You would learn much more German than in the internship, but also that would be your choice. So a little bit more about our university in general. Our university, the University of Rhine-Waal, University of Applied Science, was founded in 2009. We have, as I mentioned already, 2 locations. One location is in 𝘗𝘓 and one in 𝘗𝘓𝘪𝘳. Also our degree program is taught in 𝘗𝘓𝘪𝘳. We have a very high share on international students, above 50%, and at the moment around 7,000 students. So we have 25 bachelor degree programs and 11 master degree programs, and of them 75% is taught in English. So our faculties, 3 of them, technology and bionics, life science, society and economics, communication. These 3 are located in 𝘗𝘓. Communication and environment is located in 𝘗𝘓𝘪𝘳. Our motto is deeply rooted in Lower Rhine, yet connected to the world. So as here you see also a very short overview of our other degree programs at the faculty. As at the moment we are here at Environment and Energy, taught in English. Here you see some impressions of our campus. So as here you see the main lecture building. Here that's the place between the buildings, as lecture buildings, buildings for seminary rooms, or canteen and other buildings. And here some students discussing. So, as our campus has also the option that you get into student apartments. Also, here are the lecture buildings, or the labs are located in this area. Here are apartments for students. And we have additionally two fab labs. We have a fabrication lab, one of the biggest in Germany. And we have a green fabrication lab where we work on sustainable fabrication. So as the fab labs give you also the option to try your ideas in practical applications. Also, for example, when you have an idea about a nice valve or something like that, then by 3D printing, you could in principle test, does it work, yes or no. So also we are very proud to have this option at our university. We are very international, and we have an international center. The Rhine-Waal University's central hub for internationalization, foreign languages, and international partnerships. So I have already mentioned you have the option to study abroad. And we have partner universities in many, many countries, which allows you then also to study at the partner universities without paying additional fees for studying. So that would, for example, also enable you to study in United States or in other countries where regularly the fees are very high, but for 1 semester you could join this university if you like. We work on international partnerships with universities around the world, also not only United States. We have also in Ghana, for example, partner universities. We have in Turkey, in China, India, and many, many other countries, partner universities. We offer also a wide range of language courses, as we think English and German are not the only languages which you could learn or which would be beneficiary to learn. So here, have a look on it. You can also learn Spanish, Chinese, or other languages. And we work very much to incorporate together with European programs, also for example, Erasmus or DAAD. Also Erasmus is a European program, DAAD is a German program, which also allows you, for example, to get some funding when you apply for it to go into other countries. And international project management is also a very big topic here. So also here for this international center would be the contact for international exchanges. Additionally, we have a welcome center. So also for the welcome center, I do not read here everything what is managed, but for example, they organize language tandems. They offer tutorials via video where you can get more information. And very important for students, they organize the Freshers Week, where you get a first impression of Germany, of our university, but also, of course, very important, get into contact with your fellow students. We have a big library, also both in Kamp-Lintfort and in Kleve, we have libraries. If a book is not in Kleve, but in Kamp-Lintfort, it could be transported to Kleve and also the other way around. And here, location is not important. We have many, many electronic journals. So also here, you get access to scientific literature, teaching literature, and other literature. Student advisory service is not unimportant. Also here we have the Welcome Center, we have the International Center, but we have also both for international students as German students, the Student Advisory Service, which helps you, for example, when you need financial aid, which would give you advice when you want to get access to restricted programs. By the way, environment and energy is not restricted. So also here, you need to have the allowance to go to a German university or German University of Applied Research, but otherwise, there are no requests according marks. So also here, the Student Advisory Service would help you with many, many questions. So we are an interdisciplinary and international university, and also our degree program is very interdisciplinary. And yeah, also for us, that's a very, very important point. We would like to welcome you at our university, and yeah, I would be happy if you have questions. Many thanks for your attention, and please feel free to ask.
Thank you very much, Professor Bühde, for the presentation. There are indeed some questions. I will be answering some of them. And yeah, we can then discuss after the next 15 to 20 minutes presentation from our next guest. Let me share the screen. Now you should be able to see it. We have Professor Dr. Patrick Preuster from Rosenheim Technical University of Applied Sciences, who will be talking about master's level program in hydrogen technology. And again, short information about the program and of course the university location. Then let me stop my screen share and hand it over to Professor.
Thank you very much. So you should now see my screen, right? So I'm here as substitute for Professor Johannes Völkl, who is the Dean of Studies at our university for the Hydrogen Technology Master Program. Professor Völkl is a professor for simulation and chemical engineering, while I am professor for hydrogen technologies, and I teach a lot of the subjects we will be seeing in the upcoming minutes. Well, what is the goal of the whole program? I think some of you might have already seen a similar graphic. These are the so-called warming stripes, and give us an information on how the temperatures changed over the years. So more red means higher mean temperatures around the globe. And here we see during the last years, the temperatures increased more and more. And in the end, society and politics agreed that we want to achieve a very important target, which is the 1.5 degrees C target, so that we fight back climate change in that way that we are able to keep the overall temperature increase below 1.5 degrees C. And all scientists are more or less clear that this goal can only be achieved when we use materials and energy from renewable sources. This implies many changes, many transformation processes. And one of those massive transformation processes that is now coming to us is the transformation of the chemical industry. So chemical industry relies heavily on natural gas as feedstock, not only for the production of base chemicals like methanol or other substances we use in our daily life, but also as main source of energy. That means in chemical industry, and not only in chemical industry, we have to substitute fossils more or less completely. And it is common ground that hydrogen will play a major part in this transformation of chemical industry, and not only chemical industry, but also our energy system in general. And the master program, Hydrogen Technology, has been developed to give students an application-oriented education within this mega trend of hydrogen technology. Yeah, here we see what this huge target, this huge goal means for chemical industry. So the zero emission goal. So we are here more or less in the 2024, beginning here of the slide is 2020. And this is where we want to achieve it in 2050. And what does it mean? Well, it means a drastic reduction in tons of carbon dioxide emitted. So right now, the process industry emits 112 million tons of carbon dioxide per year, and consumes huge amount of energy. So when we want to follow the most extreme pathway, so to say, so the greenhouse gas neutrality pathway, that's the green one. So 100% of CO2 emissions are reduced. That would mean we have to invest more than 45 billion euros additional investments. And I've already mentioned that the main energy source for the chemical industry is natural gas, is fossil fuels. So instead of burning fossil fuels to produce steam, to power turbines, to power compressors, we now have to use electricity. And this electricity has to come from somewhere. And that means our energy system has to provide at least 628 terawatt hours of additional electricity. As a comparison, right now, Germany produces and consumes around 500 terawatt hours yearly. So the whole energy consumption of Germany is what the chemical industry would need additionally. The master program is focused on chemical engineering. So the program focuses more or less on the process engineering aspects of hydrogen technology. But we also want to look at side aspects, of course, because a transition like the one we are looking upon in the chemical industry also has effects on markets and economics. So if a large company like Wacker needs 2 million tons of hydrogen yearly, right now, right away, then this would drastically change the market mechanisms and would affect the prices more or less directly. We also look at politics and society, and of course, chemical engineering can't happen without materials and natural science. And chemical engineering also has a huge part of simulation as well as optimization. And what we try to achieve with this master studies is a holistic view on all the relevant fields of hydrogen technology. So the question that could be answered is, how is hydrogen produced today? This is part of the study, so that you know how is it done today, what are CO2 emissions attributed to this production method, and then what are hydrogen sources in the future? What are the current feedstocks of the process industry? For example, the production of methanol uses carbon monoxide and hydrogen that is produced from natural gas. What are potential feedstocks for future production? And then what are current supply chains and the market conditions? And what is the best fit for transformed process technologies? What are maybe drop-in technologies versus completely new process routes to achieve the same product that we need in our society? Yeah, last but not least, how is hydrogen consumed today? Primarily right now in the process industry. This will probably change quite drastically in the future. And last but not least, we want to give you all the knowledge on how to evaluate new process routes. The requirements for the study program are English B2, so the whole program is taught in English. We have German language classes which are integrated into the study plan, and by the end of your studies you should have achieved German B1 level. You can start the master program each summer and each winter semester, and the application period are here on the slide. So from the 1st of April to the 15th of May for the winter term, and 15th of November to 15th of December for the summer term. We have integrated the German language classes into the study plan because we learned from personal experience that the chemical industry, at least here in Bavaria, requires a certain degree of German to actually hire our students. That's why we made it mandatory to learn German, because, for example, the company Wacker here in Burghausen is giving all its safety instructions primarily in German. And if you are not able to understand the safety instructions, you are not allowed to work on the site. So German is integrated into the study plan and is an important part of your education here. So the study plan is relatively open. We have 3 terms here: winter, summer, and depending on when you started the last term with your master thesis. In each term, we have 2 compulsory classes, which is fundamentals of hydrogen and safety, as well as scientific methods and writing. And then we have different specialization courses where you can specialize, for example, into computational fluid dynamics for process industry, hydrogen storage, chemical hydrogen conversion, or here catalysis technology, homogeneous catalysis, an overview over current energy technologies. You can also specialize, for example, in advanced thermodynamics for hydrogen applications, electrochemical process engineering. And last but not least, we have the field of application and competence-oriented courses where you can select from energy politics and laws, techno-economic analysis and simulation, and the introduction to the economics of hydrogen markets. Overall, you should achieve 90 ECTS points, with 25 points from the master thesis, 10 ECTS for the project thesis, which is like a smaller version of the master thesis that you should be doing ideally in cooperation with one of the companies here at the campus and work on one of the projects, smaller projects the companies have to solve. Why should you study in Burghausen? Well, the campus is relatively young, so we were founded in 2016, so only 8 years old. And because the campus is so young, we offer modern equipment. We have lots and lots of measurement equipment in the lab space, and we have a close collaboration with the different companies that are located here in Burghausen. So the university is more or less at the center of the 𝘗𝘢𝘪𝘵 Bavaria, which is the largest chemical park in Bavaria and one of the largest parks in Germany. And this offers a very close contact and application-oriented topics with the world's leading companies we have here directly in close vicinity to the university. Yeah, besides the close vicinity to the chemical industry, Burghausen is also a very nice town. So we are located directly onto the border to Austria, and the border is here, the Salzach River. We have lakes where you can swim in the summer, and we have relatively short distances to towns like Munich and Salzburg, as well as the Alps or Lake Chiemsee. Yeah, Burghausen is not only the center of the chemical industry in Bavaria, but due to the center of chemical industry in Bavaria, lots of politics are looking at what we are doing here in Burghausen. So in the last year, we had the beginning of the construction process for our hydrogen research center, where Markus Söder and other politics started with the building. We have large onshore wind projects, and of course, Burghausen will hopefully be part of the hydrogen core network, where hydrogen is transported through gas pipelines. Yeah. If you have any questions regarding the study program, you can write an email to Johannes Völkl, and of course, I am happy to answer your questions after the session.
Professor Preuster, thank you very much for the presentation, and dear attendees, thank you very much for the questions. So now let us jump into the Q&A right away. I was answering some technical questions, but there are still some of them. And I know you also would like to discuss program contents, but today it seems that we have more application-related questions. I guess people are already about to apply. So in case you would like to also give hints on that, please feel free to do so. First question is to Professor Buda. As it was a bachelor's program, we had a few questions about Studienkolleg. Is it possible? Do you have your own? Is it possible to do in English or not? But at the same time, we have at least one participant, Robert, who already did bachelor in electrical engineering, yes, electrical engineering. And I answered that for bachelor's program to apply, you just need high school degree. But as we know, in case you have at least 1 year of university studies at your home country, you can also kind of avoid Studienkolleg. But with this background, will it be possible for him to do so? And what would you say about Studienkolleg at all?
Yeah, also first of all, we cooperate with Studienkollegs. There was a Freshers Institute nearby in Kleve, which I think is continuously operating. But when you join that, you would need to pay fees. When you have already started to study electrical engineering, if you have already finished electrical engineering, there are in principle several options. Also, first of all would be, of course, try for master. Nevertheless, we would be happy if you join us. Then I would assume that studying already successfully a technical degree program, that you would get the access quite easy. You could afterwards request that certain topics, as for example electricity and magnetism, would be, you do not need to pass the exam at our university, but you can make credit transfer. But that you can only start when you are already matriculated at our university. But there I would see a good chance.
Okay. So Robert, this was, I think, Robert, sorry, insight, information, which will be also helpful for you. Then similar type of background question is for Rosenheim or Professor Preuster. It was about the background in physics. Is it possible to apply with that?
So right now it is possible to apply, but actually you will have a hard time studying the program, as it's heavily relying on knowledge you've gained through your bachelor in hopefully some mechanical or process engineering field. So bachelor in physics has the ability to apply, but I wouldn't recommend it. So you would have to learn quite a lot in process engineering background information to make it through the study program.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Now back to Professor Buda. The question is, do non-EU students need to provide any additional documents to apply for this Bachelor Environment and Energy?
What type of documents?
The non-EU students, something additional. Do they need to submit?
Also they need to apply via UniAssist. For that, also, yeah, I would refer to our homepage and to the links to UniAssist. To my knowledge, also you need to have the Deutsche Hochschulreife. Also you need to have fulfill the criteria for German universities or German universities for applied science. You need to bring a language level of B2. That has to be TOEFL, TELC, or something else which is internationally accepted. And as at the moment, as it's possible to immatriculate electronically, so you do not need to go to Germany to matriculate. Nevertheless, you need, of course, a German visa in order to study in Germany. But that you can, in principle, then, also you can first matriculate and then go for the visa. The problem is you may come very late in the starting semester.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you so much. And I think UniAssist is a topic here because in case of the bachelor's program, you need to apply directly with UniAssist. For everybody, doesn't matter if it's from non-EU or EU, you just need to go also check UniAssist country by country, which are additional documents that apply not from the program, but UniAssist needs some additional documents, for example, to see your grades, how they transfer to German system, etc., etc. So you just can easily Google UniAssist country by country and see there's some requirements which could apply to your country, but in this case, your country means the country from which you have your previous degree obtained from. So you could be a different national, but graduated in a different country, so the other country counts. And the master's program is also dealing with UniAssist partially, because if I correctly see, you need also VPD,
Exactly.
which is for the merit document. And then there was at least one question about the cost. So both of them, UniAssist charges money. There are no application fees by programs. And in case you want to know more about VPD or UniAssist as a whole, just let me know. I will share the link in chat. All right, thank you so much. So there is another question to the master's program. I have a Ghanaian first degree in marine science. Am I eligible to apply for this program? If yes, does no tuition fee apply to me as well?
So right now we don't have marine science in the bachelor studies that are admitted to the master's program. So if you apply, we will check your degree and check if you had any relevant subjects in your bachelor program that are relevant for us, and then you might be able to apply. But I can't promise it for marine science because that's pretty far away from hydrogen and process technology.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Then it's more content-related question, I would say, to Professor Buda. Based on this curriculum, it's not a problem if a student has a lack of knowledge in one or more directions, as you will provide the basics at the beginning of the studies, right?
That's the idea. But nevertheless, we are university, so also the basics might come a little bit faster than you're used to from school. Also it could be, if you have previous knowledge for math or something like that, it's much easier for you. We provide the basic knowledge, but then you need to work hard.
Thank you. Another question is about the GPA. So my CGPA from bachelor's is 3 out of 5 US system. I can also share the calculator with you. Does it matter for the application? Question for hydrogen technology.
Sorry, can you please repeat the question?
Yeah, do you have a minimum GPA requirement, and is it like a ranking when students apply, or do you have no restriction on admission? So how is it?
Right now, we don't have any restrictions, but due to the large number of students applying at the moment, we might introduce restrictions in the future.
But if somebody is applying now, there is no minimum GPA requirement.
Right now, there is no minimum requirement, yes.
Now the question is for both of you. You both mentioned master thesis and also close ties with companies, industry. So is it a common for students to write their theses, not master, but thesis at all, like bachelor and master theses with companies in cooperation? Should it be only within German company, or do you have like specific regulations for that? Could they do it also abroad? Maybe we can start with Professor 𝘱𝘢𝘳𝘵 and then.
Yeah, also you need to find a supervisor at our university. Also the first supervisor has to come from our faculty. The second supervisor can come from a company. The minimum requirement is a bachelor or master in science or engineering. If you have an economic topic, it could be also a bachelor or master in economy. So concerning the company, we have many companies where we supervise bachelor thesis. I have also supervised bachelor thesis abroad in other countries, my colleagues too. Here we would check with company and with students, is it possible, yes or no?
Thanks so much. Then Professor Preuster.
Yeah, I don't think I have to add much to that. So it's the same for us. So very, very similar requirements. And yeah, due to the vicinity to the chemical industry, we highly recommend doing it in cooperation with a company, because it opens the door for your future application to this company.
And
Works
maybe
very well, very often.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much to both of you. And as a continuation into master's program, then do you also have PhD positions in this direction? Is it common that students go for PhD?
So right now we have 4 PhD students at our campus. So I say like roughly 10 to 15% of our students continue with a PhD program. So it's not that common, because right now our students are highly sought by industry. So the majority stops after the master and continues with working in the company.
I'm just checking. So there is one question about 𝘱𝘢𝘪𝘥. Yes, 𝘱𝘢𝘪𝘥 is required for bachelor's program. Then there was a question about professor-student ratio. So at the programs, how large your programs are. Maybe Professor 𝘱𝘢𝘪𝘥 could start.
Yeah, also at the moment we have 5 professors teaching in our degree program. We have roughly 30 students per semester who are starting, also 20 to 30 students. So also in general, we have a very good relationship, students per professor.
And Professor Preuster?
Yeah, so we have 8 professors teaching in the program, but have last term over 120 students that started in the program. So our professor to student ratio is not that good. And to be honest, we are struggling a bit with the mass of students we have right now. And that's why we are thinking about introducing restrictions with respect to the grades.
Okay, thank you. One very, very non-program related question is about the accommodation at Rheinval. Do you also have dormitories, and is it possible to apply, and how early should one do so?
Is that to me?
Ja, 𝘱𝘢𝘪𝘥𝘪𝘯𝘨.
Yeah. Also we have dormitories, but we have more students than we have places in dorms. So also ASA social referat is trying to help students who have problems to find a place for living and sleeping. Also in 𝘗𝘓, the situation is a little bit different to 𝘗𝘓. Also in 𝘗𝘓, it's highly recommended that you find something either directly in 𝘗𝘓 or nearby. We have also dorms in 𝘗𝘓, but as I said, the problem is more students. The same situation is in 𝘗𝘓. In 𝘗𝘓, we have the advantage that we are very near to the cities Moers, Krefeld, Duisburg, and Weinberg. So also here you have also the chance to find accommodation in a nearby city. It gets easier, as it was very, very difficult in 2022, 2023. The reason was the many, many refugees coming from Ukraine. The situation is now not as bad as this time, but yes, it's a challenge.
Okay, thank you. And the last question for today is for Professor Poyster. You mentioned that side topics include also politics and society. Could you briefly mention an example of what exactly it covered in this direction?
Yeah, sure. So for the politics part, that's mainly how politics and regulations can assist in the hydrogen market ramp up. As the situation is right now, we don't really have a market for green hydrogen, and politics have to assist in this direction. And with respect to society, that's more or less focused on acceptance and communication of new technologies to society. When you ask people about hydrogen, often the first image that comes to their mind is the burning Hindenburg. And of course, that's not the image we want to convey with hydrogen and hydrogen technology. So communication, acceptance is a huge topic in the field of society.
Thank you. Dear attendees, I still receive your question about the application, which was fully covered in the presentation, so I don't want to ask our guests to repeat it. If you joined us later, which is also okay, then please wait a few weeks or at least 2 weeks, and then you will be able to see the recording in case it's approved by our speakers where you can review. But also on Tuesday, you will receive a follow-up email to this webinar where you will see all the information about the programs, again, access links or links to the pages. And in case professors share with me the presentations, I will also include it there. So you will see these technical things there again, and they were already mentioned in presentation. So I don't want to repeat it once again. Therefore, I will then thank you everybody for joining us.